What's going on, guys? Chuck here with another awesome Blu-ray purchase. What I got today was something from Vinegar Syndrome's, I believe it was our halfway to Black Friday sale, and it is from 1971, Let's Scare Jessica to Death. This is a 4K Blu-ray combo, or I guess limited edition. What I know about this film was very little. Basically, title alone, it's one of the titles that sticks out at you, you know. And, you know, I remember seeing a trailer for it. I'm sure it's one of these trailer compilations I have. But I was never sure what exactly the movie was about. So I saw Vinegar Syndrome had it. I figured, what the heck, I'll pick it up. Blind buy. A curiosity blind buy. And it looked like a nice looking set, so why not? As you can imagine, the title, Let's Scare Jessica to Death, kind of implies something or particular, I guess, thought or image. I don't know. Premise. That's what I'm looking for. Premise comes to mind when you hear that title. And needless to say, that is a very misleading title. Apparently, the title was initially just Jessica, but I guess was it Paramount or whoever didn't think that would sell well, so they marketed it better. They tried to change the title to Let's Scare Jessica to Death because it would grab your attention more, and obviously that worked. Kind of on the heels of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Who Slew Auntie Shrew, those kind of titles like that. Who did what to whom, or why is this to that, that kind of thing. So it was kind of marketing they had. And again, but I hear this title and I'm thinking, okay, well, in my mind envisions you have a woman who's being driven mad, possibly by those around her, trying to, I don't know, drive her crazy in some way. That's the impression I got. That is not really what this film is about. For those who don't know, I don't want to give too much away, just for the fact that, you know, I don't want to spoil it if you're interested in seeing this. But basically, what this film is about is the woman Jessica, who we start off and she's already kind of hearing voices. It's her inner monologue, actually. But it's kind of like, here we are, but you know, how do I get to this point? Flashback in a sense, and you're dealing with. You can always tell Jessica's already kind of troubled, disturbed. She's hearing voices. She's got voices in her head. And her and her husband and their friend are moving out to this. We're out in the country. Kind of it's implied she's starting a new life because throughout, it's never really said what happened or why, but it's implied through dialogue that Jessica had some kind of breakdown. She spent some time in a mental hospital, and now she's out and she's trying to reacclimate herself with the world, but she's still struggling with, again, thoughts in her head and what's real, what's not, which makes Jessica somewhat of an unreliable narrator through this film. As you get in this town where all the people are basically just kind of standoffish, kind of rude. But Jessica, they end up meeting a woman who is squatting in this house that they bought. But she's kind of just I guess she's squat. She's like, yeah, nowhere to go. She's just kind of a whatever, this woman hippie. At 71, she's kind of like a free spirit woman, But Jessica takes in her husband decided to take her in, and she integrates herself with this group of people, and that's all I really want to say. But throughout, Jessica is seeing things, hearing things, questioning what's going on, and there's this mystery about the town itself and the history of this house. I mean, in a lot of ways, when I come in, I as I start watching, I think, okay, this is some kind of ghost story, apparently, a haunted house ghost story. But no, there's something else in that. And again, I'm going to leave it up there for you to check out if you don't already know. So as far as presentation on here, I had nothing to compare it to, having never seen the film before. And I believe that Scream Factory had released this on a Blu-ray. But the 4K on here was the colors are very vibrant and it really stood out. This takes place in the fall, and there's the colors, the fall colors are really standing. They really put you in that mood. It's uh, between the green, the brown colors. There's also red is very prominent, but I don't know. It just looked really good. Yeah, it's like I think the sound was only like a 2.0 mono, but good clear sound. I think that stands out, but it was clean and crisp. But it looked really good from what I saw, from what I could tell, I should say. As far as image goes, I was really impressed. Now, again, what I've learned with 4K settings on your TV, your experience may differ because of how you have your settings. And I kind of tweaked around with the links. Honestly, I'm not quite sure which. I put it on. What was it, like cinema mode or whatever that is, and or filmmaker mode, and the colors will kind of mute and get it flat, and it's naturalist is good. You can put it on vibrant, and the colors will pop. So, but either way, it looks really good. Again, it comes down to your preference, I think. Not being tech savvy enough to know what's what, I can only go with what looks good to me as I watch these films in 4K. But either way, it was a good, clean image. It doesn't matter how vibrant you want your colors. You want them more normal. I mean, who's to say? But it looks really good for what it was. And as far as the movie goes, it's a quick watch. It's only like not even 90 minutes. I think it's about 88, 89 minutes, something like that. It's a very slow burn. You can tell it's a very low budget. I think they mentioned this is kind of a negative pickup. A low budget. Paramount just bought it up and decided to distribute it, so they didn't put any money behind it. But it's an interesting. Like I said, it's hard. You're with Jessica. It says the unreliable narrator. She's hearing anything. She's not sure. You're questioning what's real, what's not real. What is she seeing? Is she seeing this? You don't know. It plays up a nice little mystery. As it goes on, you're kind of wondering what's going on with these weird people and the people that are around Jessica. But again, it's a very slow burn. Just kind of keeps you on edge. And the score is very different. I can't really describe it. It's not a traditional score, but it has a nice, makes you think, have a nice creepy, I don't want to say ethereal, that's not the right word, but I don't know, just very otherworldly, maybe. Nah, that could be too much too. But it's very creepy, ominous. Maybe that's becoming ominous of something, coming, or there's something we're not seeing, but it's there. The music plays that and kind of builds up that tension of what is the mystery of, what is real, what is not, is what's going on with Jessica. So it's good. Like I said, I don't think it's everyone's cup of tea, again, because it's early 70s. Like I said, it's low budget, filmed really well, looks good. I think it's directed well, but again, it's a very slow burn to get to where you're going with it. And there are, to tell it's low budget, there's a couple scenes where there's a scene in a little dining room table where the foursome, Jessica, her husband, their friend, and the squatter, the woman, I think Emily, I think her name was. They're sitting at the table, and off in the corner you see a random knee just pop out of nowhere. Obviously, it's the crew. In the shadows, you can kind of see boom mics hanging over. It's these little things that I found funny that they were kind of popping up. Again, low budget filmmaking at its best, so that's kind of interesting thing. But like I said, it may not be for everyone. It's got very slow pace. Nothing really builds up. The end is kind of has a little of a pickup as you get to solving the mystery, if you will. But nothing much. It's not a lot of gore. It's more implied. There's a couple bloody scenes, but nothing too much. It's more about the mystery and the build up and the questioning, Jessica's sanity, more or less. But I think it's an interesting watch. It's become a cult favorite. But again, the title is very misleading for what's really, what the film is really about. Which I may be mistaken. I have to go back and rewatch it, but I don't really think they explained it. I mean, it's implied what's going on. I guess if you put the pieces together, sure, but they don't really come out and say it exactly. At least that I recall. That's for you to figure out. But so here's the Vinegar Syndrome slip box. So here's a nice little pink, and of course the lake and the woman coming out of the lake, which is actually the squatting. Again, his name is Emily. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But it's a very prominent image. Inside, we've got, here's the slipcover. Again, a very moody atmosphere, which I do like. This is a very nice slip for that. I mean, it's nothing fancy. It's pretty simple, but I think it captures the moodiness and tone of the film very well. And here is the 4K with the reversible artwork. The other side is, I believe, is the slip box. So that's the reverse of this. Here's the back. And you do have your 4K and your Blu-ray, which has all your special features are on the Blu-ray. Audio commentaries are on the 4K, but as far as other features, they are on the Blu-ray. And what are those features? Let's see here. We contain the 4K UHD disc contains the 89-minute feature presentation of Let's Scare Jessica to Death, presented in Dolby Vision, HDR, and newly restored from its 35mm original camera negative, with the following sound options: original mono soundtrack, a new commentary track with director John D. Hancock, moderated by Justin Laliberly, okay, and a new commentary track with authors Kim Newman and Sean Hogan, which I have to listen to that because, I do like listening to Kim Newman. Also included is a Blu-ray disc containing everything on the UHD, which we talked about. A disc plus the following special features, and from what I can tell, these are all newly made features for Vinegar Syndrome. New meeting about 15 minutes. A new interview with director John D. Hancock. The Stars Align. 11 minutes. There's a new interview with co-producer Bill Badlato. The Sound of Terror. 12 minutes. It's a new interview with composer Orville Stover. A Haunted Quality. 22 minutes. A new interview with Nightmare USA author Stephen Thrower. That area is again. I talked about Stephen Thrower. He pops up a lot, and again, very informative interview with him, and the most lengthiest feature on here. Trailer, TV spots, radio spot, and image gallery. So some pretty good features, and all the interviews are pretty interesting. And of course, Stephen Thrower one usually throw a lot of information at you. He usually does. Very, very knowledgeable about film, and he's very fun to listen to. Like I said, I'll have to go back and run it through with the Kim Newman commentary because I like to listen to him. He's very fun as well. And it also includes a booklet, front, back, basically essays. I did read the first essay through here, which was interesting. Kind of gave a rundown of the film and it's a very beat by beat and kind of breaking it down in that first year. I haven't read the rest of the essays in here. I think there's 3 or maybe 4. But they're all broken up into colors because you have pink. It's the first one. Into yellow. And then purple. So there's that. So pretty simple, release from Vinegar Syndrome. Not simple. I mean, it's standard. Not standard. It's limited. The standard limited edition release. What they usually do with these kind of sets. But it's a interesting 70s cult film. One I think you should check out at least once. Like I said, it may not be everybody's cup of tea. Again, it's a very slow burn. It's very 70ish, very low budget. But it's got, again, being from 1971, it really has that, I don't know, the feel of it just, I always like to feel that kind of film. And that, I said that kind of a creepiness to it, an uneasiness. You're questioning a lot of stuff goes on. And I think it's makes for an interesting watch. And again, it's not even 90 minutes. It's a quick watch. So I think it's, worth checking out. So there you have it. Let's Scare Jessica to Death from Vinegar Syndrome. Okay, that is it for this one. If you enjoy this, click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you've seen Let's Scare Jessica to Death. What are your thoughts on it if you have this release? Or just say hi. I'll always take hi. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.